Neptunia 15th anniversary starts tomorrow, and I cannot be more excited.
Who's he?
Kentman!
He's not important!
Hello, gamers and collectors, it's your boy Kentman, and I thought, before the anniversary happens tomorrow, why not sit down and rank all the games and give you my opinions on most of them? I thought that'd be pretty cool, so let's do that. Okay, so I have here a list of all the games that's ever come out. Now, for this list, there was a few that was missing that I added for a lot of the mobile games, which is fair that most people wouldn't add these because they are mobile games, but they're still Neptunia games, so I added them because they needed to be on here. Now, first, before we get into everything else, I do need to make another tier below because I need to put that never played. Now, there's a few Neptunia games that I never played, like some of the mobile games, because they were only in Japan and then they got canceled and they never came out again. Or I just haven't had the chance to play them because of another game coming out or waiting for it to come on PC or etc. So with that being said, let's get into it, starting with the first game, Hyperdimension Neptunia, the game that started everything. And where am I ranking this? Honestly, this game, a lot of these games, the first three ones, gets a lot of flack. Even I have in the past said these games are trash, but after going back and kind of playing the first game again recently, and I'm probably going to be doing it again soon for the anniversary, I actually really like this game. Like, it is definitely very crusty. It definitely has like a different type of vibe to it. Like, the dungeons are very slow. You had to walk through each dungeon very slowly. You had to open up chests very slowly. There was a different way you fought between like a traditional turn-based game that you didn't really have a lot of control that much on, like healing, and it was like a very different type of experience. It definitely needed an improvement, which we did get with Rebirth, but I still love this charm. We even lost the guns, because like guns was a very big part of the Neptunia franchise, and then afterwards they got rid of them, and now only Uni has a gun, and I guess Iffy as well sometimes has a piece, but you don't really get to see it again. But because I have a lot of fondness for this game, because it's the first game I ever played in the franchise, like a lot of people, I'm gonna give it a good solid C, because it's kind of like, a good place to put it, because it's like, it's bad by today's standards, but when the game first came out, it was amazing. I loved it. I loved everything about it. Now, Neptunia MK2 is a game that, even with Rebirth 2, I'm gonna lump these together, I don't remember as much. Now, I remember the sister CPUs, of course, Netgear, ROM and RAM, and Uni, and how Vert didn't get a sister, which we were all like, what the heck? But they didn't have a console sister. So like, it made sense at the time, but it still sucked. But I don't really remember this game a lot, because I normally only ever kind of go back and play Rebirth 1 and 3 a lot. So 2 kind of gets like the middle child treatment, that I don't really go back to it a lot, but I still love it. I really like the concept that most of the CPU sisters was the ones that was the leading charge. It was the first time that Neptune wasn't the lead, and it was Netgear, and she had to show her strength of being just as good as her sister, but believing in herself, which was really good. However, I'm gonna just lump it right next to Neptunia 1, because I feel like it's just appropriate to have them both together. And then we have Victories, where the game series kind of changed because it had a whole different type of gameplay style, which adopted into Rebirth 1 and 2. And then also just the vibes of the game was very high. You had this whole nother dimension with a whole nother set of characters from Vert, Blanc, and Noir and their versions. And then you also learned that Plutia was the actual CPU, and then when Iris Heart showed up, and it was, oh my god. So I love Victory. I think I'm gonna put it at a B because this is kind of where the story in the franchise kind of like reshaped, and I feel like by this game, the characters and cast kind of knew their characters, so by the time they went back to Rebirth, they were able to put a little bit of a spin on their characters. That's when you start to get a little bit more like fun Nep. Back in the day, like in the first games, Neptune wasn't really as like high energy as she is now. Like I feels like the voice actress really started to capture Neptune and a lot of the characters very well, and it just became because of this game, and it's just that good. And then next we have Hyperdimension Perfect Perfection, or PP if you want to be prune about it, which I like to say. It's a pretty decent game. I never played it specifically, but I do own it. I recently picked it up when I went to Florida, but I never actually ended up playing it, so I have to put it down here, just being honest. I never played it, but hopefully one day I will play it. Now, Rebirth 1 is an automatic S for me. I think they did an amazing job with these remakes, and Rebirth 1 was the one game that needed it the most. I feels like the pacing got better. I think the characters got better. I feels like the writing was solid. The overworld map was great. You had multiple different endings. I think I really loved Vert and Iffy's relationship in this game, but then they just kind of forget about it in the later parts of the game for some reason. Like they just don't ever connect ever, when like Vert loved Iffy in the first game. But like I just think like the connections in this game was really, really strong. I'm gonna actually skip a little ahead and put Reverse up there as well. Now Reverse is essentially just the same game on PS5, even though some people will say that it's not the same game, but it is. I have bought this game so many times on almost every single platform, and I probably will continue to do it until I die because I just love Rebirth 1. It's just, now when it comes to Rebirth 2, I'm gonna have to put it in a because it's still good. It's a great game, amazing. However, again, I don't remember it as much. It's the one game I don't get the chance to play all the time versus the first game and Victory, because again, it's the middle child that I just end up forgetting. And I just wish I need to do better. I need to do better. That's all. I need to be a better parent and show some love to the middle child. That's all I'm gonna say. And then we're just gonna go ahead and straight up just put Victory in S. I mean, it's pretty much this game, but better, and it's great and amazing. All the same that the things I said before, amazing. I think, Victory changed the game. This game changed Neptunia forever, and probably for the better, because I don't really think that this game particularly did that well. It just did well off of like voice alone, but then ID Factor was like, you know, we're just gonna keep doing it. And then they got the victory, and it just kind of like did amazing. Now, Hyper Noir. Now, I'm gonna be honest, when this game first came out for the Vita, I didn't really like it because of the chibi look, but when I actually like took my bias out of the way of how the character models looked and actually played the game, it was actually a lot of fun. One, I really like tactical RPGs, so that really like made me try to play it more, because then at that time when this game came out, I started to play Fire Emblem Awakenings, right? I think if my timeline in my head is right. But like that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should try it out, and I actually ended up liking it. The art style is still a little weird, but I still love it enough to buy the Switch Collector's Edition, and I probably will do it again when they do the PS4 version. So I'm gonna put it up in a B, because I really do like the game. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone that's not a Neptunia fan. I mean, to be frank, when you're comparing the Neptunia games to like actual games, they're not really all that great in most people's criteria of a good game. However, as a Neptunia fan, then it's a really good game, and I think it's like a solid B in my opinion. Maybe even a C. It might end up dropping down, but we'll see. But not. Next, we have Action U, which is pretty much just a Dynasty Warriors with Neptunia that has amazing, great gameplay, a good combat, good character moments. I like Dynasty Warriors. I like turning my brain off, mashing my buttons, and mowing down a bunch of enemies. What better way to get it with Neptunia? You know, so I really love Action U, and I do go back to this one every so often, and I really do enjoy it. I probably enjoy it more than Rebirth too, I'm gonna be honest. I know that's blasphemy, but it is true. I really do love Action U. I think this is one of the best side games they made. But yeah, Mega Dimension V2, the fourth and last mainline game in the Neptunia series. And I think Mega Dimension is an S. I think they did everything good about this game. It was the first time we got to see Yuzume, and we got to see the destruction of the Dreamcast, which, you know, was a big deal in her world. She was literally Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, where her world ended up getting destroyed by a very big calamity goddess that hated the world, and she lived in a town of ruin. And so then Neptune and Netgear, you know, was finding it, and then they help her like get out of it a little bit. But like, that's also where we got their next forms, and there was a bunch of like cool things they did for this game. They really did push the series to like its limits with this, because like it was on the brim of the characters. You didn't know if they were going to make it or not. They were trying new ideas. We got really cool CGI cutscenes in this game. So they were really like pushing the boundaries with this game. And then they just stopped making mainline games. Next, we have Blunt Neptune versus Zombies. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't play this one either.
Move this man.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played it yet. I know I should, but I haven't played it. But it looks really cool. I do have it, I do own it. Again, I picked it up when I was in Florida. In 2014, I was kind of like going to college. I didn't really care about handhelds anymore. So I wanted to play console games, and so I didn't really end up playing a lot of the Vita games because of that. But I did go back and play Sega Hard Girls, because I really was enjoying the Sega Hard Girls franchise at that time. So we had when they had the crossover between Neptunia and Sega Hard Girls, it was really cool. And I like the fact that Iffy was the main character in this game, and they had a lot of different like ways you could play it. Like you could like grapple across the pipeline, the character system, the battle system was a little different. And I like that they were trying new things. The only gripe that I had with this game when it first came out, that I'm gonna be honest, that I was a little salty about, is that we had the Neptune games, we had the Noir game, we had the Blunt game, and then where's the Vert game? Why didn't Vert get her own mainline game? Like, share the love. They're supposed to be the 4 CPUs of the world, and you're trying to tell me that Vert can't get her own centered game? But if he does before Vert, come on, man. Now, I didn't hate this game by any means. However, I think Vert definitely deserves her own game, and we just didn't get that yet, and I just don't know why. I don't know why, but I think Sega Hard Girls is definitely a B, maybe even an A, but I have to like refresh myself on playing it. But I do remember having a good time with it when it came out. Now, speaking of the Vert game, that should have been a Vert game, but it was more of a Neptune game by the end of the day, but is Hyperdimension 4 Goddesses Online, which is the game that Vert normally always plays and should have been the Vert Center game, which technically in some ways it was. I think it was a really fun like MMO like kind of game. It was like more of an action based game where you had a lot of different moves that you could use, and you can play it online. I don't know if the servers are still alive today's standards, but I really enjoyed it. It didn't really, like, when I kind of started playing this game in like the tail end of it dying, and there wasn't a lot of people online anymore, so I mostly end up playing this game alone, which is sad, and I didn't have a lot of friends. Here's the thing about Mega Dimension VR, which is supposed to be a kind of like Rebirth 4. I remember liking this game, but I know a lot of people don't, and I think it is kind of like a B in my opinion. The VR game should have been its own game, and the Rebirth 4 part of Mega Dimension should have been its game. Like, it should have been 2 different games. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. There's some people who like it, like me, there's some who don't, but it's hit or miss. Now, I haven't played Super RPG yet. I never played Neptune shooter. Not that I don't have it. It's just I don't really care for bullet hell games, so I didn't really care for it. Now, Virtual Stars, on initial like playing, I didn't really care for it. I definitely feels like this was kind of like a cash grab to get on the VTuber like trend, and it seems fun, but it's not that good of a game. Virtual Stars is more of a like a shooting up game in a sense, and like you have a lot of characters, new characters in the game, and it's just like it could have been good, but it's not. Now, this game just makes me mad because like it's two of my favorite franchises come together, which is Neptunia and Senran Kagura. And Senran Kagura hasn't had a game in forever, and I feels like this game should have been the gateway to bringing Senran Kagura back in some ways, but this game is more of a Neptunia game than a Senran Kagura game. But also, it is more of a Neptunia game that features Senran Kagura, because like it doesn't have the same elements of a Senran Kagura game. It doesn't have the same nuance. It's still made by Tamsoft, so it has that same like flair. However, it's more catered to the Neptunia side versus like Senran Kagura, and not them meshing together in a way. But it's still a good game, and because Senran Kagura is in it, along with Neptunia, I gotta give it a beat. Top Nep, I didn't play that much. It's pretty okay. It's like a, you know, Space Harrier kind of game, which if you're good at Space Harrier, you're gonna like it. If you're not, then you're not gonna like it. Now we get to Sisters versus Sisters. Now, here's the thing about Sisters versus Sisters. I love the story for Sisters versus Sisters. I love Maho. I love Ari. I love the representation that, you know, CPUs for PC was coming in and trying to take over the CPU format. I love that they tried to incorporate COVID into the game. I like that they tried to, like, the story and elements of the game was great. I think the combat itself wasn't all that good and was very stiff. They tried to do a whole new gameplay system where it was just a 3-man squad, then a 4-man squad that the game was always meant to be. And like some of the combat felt clunky, but I really still enjoyed it for the story alone. And some people were, sorry, game over resolutions. Some people was very confused if this was a mainline game because it featured, you know, Netgear as the main character again, and it had the elements of a mainline game. In my heart of hearts, I think it's a mainline game, but it is a side game, unfortunately. And for me, I think this is the best side game we've had in a long time. Now, granted, I haven't played Game Maker R Evolution yet because I'm waiting for it to come out on PC, which comes out on August 26th, which is what I'm waiting to play. However, I think this was a really good side game. Now, a lot of JRPG fans didn't like this game, obviously, because they just don't understand the beauty of Neptunia. However, I really enjoyed this game. I really like the story. I love that Netgear was the main character again after we haven't had her as the main character in a long time. I think the payoff for the story was really good. How, you know, I'm not going to spoil it just in case you guys haven't played it, from like the Gray Sister and Maho's relationship. Like, there's some parts of me that really loves this game, but there's other parts that I think could have been better. And like, if this game had the storyline that it has, but had the gameplay style of Victory, it would have been great. It would have been the best game ever. Best game ever. I wish we would have had the opportunity to explore all the other different nations, from Last Station to Louis and Limbox, and seeing what those cities were like up close and personal and what they were looking like. Again, I like the direction that they were going in. It just didn't fully flesh out, but I really do like Sister for the story alone. That's why it's kind of high on the list for me versus a lot of the other ones, because it's the closest we've gotten in a long time to a mainline game story, because it feels like a mainline game, but it's not. And that's the disappointing part about it. Games Art Evolution, I haven't played yet. Next we have Riders versus Dongos. Now, I like the concept of this game. I think the game is really fun in itself, but it's kind of a disappointment because it's not what we wanted right after Game Art Evolutions. We wanted another mainline game. And I think that's where a lot of the hate comes for this game for most people. But it's not a bad game. It's just an okay game. Like it's decent. It's fun. It has some good like elements and funness to it. You're just wrangling up dongos, and that's pretty much the game. And I think the criminal part of this game that it costs more than 20 bucks. I'm gonna be honest. This game should have been like 10 bucks. It's cool that Yuzume is the main character again, but however, this game was like 40 bucks. But I didn't pay 40 bucks because I waited for it to go on sale, so that was a cool thing for me. So I guess I will get my money's worth. However, most people bought this at full price. This game didn't deserve to be full price. Next, we have Mega Miracle Force, which was the gacha game from Neptunia that got canceled after like 2 years, I think. And it was a really good one. You were specifically just Neptune. You fell from the sky, you land into the dirt, Neptune finds you, you don't have a memory, and then you help them like form and save the dimensions, and that's pretty much it. And that's the story, and it was a really fun game. It never came west, but you had to play it through the APKs, so, and then it got canceled, and I really enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I wish they would have kept up with it. I'm gonna give it like a C. Next we have Neptunia Friends, which was another mobile free-to-play game that only was in Japan, and a lot of the characters end up being in virtual stores actually, but they also had Friends F characters in here, which was pretty cool, but it never came west, and I never played it, so I have to put it here, but I know of it. Then we have Neptunia Kisaki. It's like a dress-up Neptunia game that never came west either, so I never played it, but I just wanted to mention it.
Editing Kentman here, stepping in for this guy who couldn't talk for some reason. It is called Neptunia Collections. It is a card gacha, and it's not available anymore, which sucks because a lot of the art on the cards were really good, but unfortunately, it never came to the West, so there's that. And I never played it.
And then you have Neptunia Connect, which was a card-based game that was supposed to come to the to West, but they never did, and it did end up getting canceled, so I never played it. And there you go. That is me ranking every single Neptunia game ever to be created so far. I'm probably missing some of the animations and stuff, but like, it's mostly about the games. Some of them I never played, but some of them I have, and some of them I would love to play, but I didn't get the chance to play a lot of the mobile games because they got canceled and they never came to the West. And now I don't even think you can find them most times. Some of them I do want to eventually play, and some of them I probably will end up loving a lot, but Rebirth 1 is still my favorite Neptunia game of all time. It's just, it is a classic, fun time. I can always go back and play it. But I want to show more love to Rebirth 2 eventually, which I'm going to do very soon because I want to play all the games again for the anniversary and the hype of anniversary and stuff. So I do want to try to play a lot of these on stream and then just have fun with them. With that being said, I love Neptunia. I love this franchise so much. I will buy all the games every single time. I don't really care. It has that Pokemon effect for me where even if the game is bad, I still will buy it because I just love Neptunia, and that's just the darn own truth of it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. We got anniversary tomorrow, the 15th anniversary tomorrow, and I will definitely be talking about that and seeing what they all show tomorrow. Hopefully they show something, cross our fingers, but I guess we'll have to wait until then. So with that being said, remember that fan service is the best kind of service, and I will see you in the next video next time. Bye me.